Juice!
Hi, I'm Laura, and this is... I guess Juice isn't here today. I'll have to do this video all by myself. Today we're going to be telling the story of Cinderella if it was switched. So Cinderella wouldn't have a happy ending, but she would. But at the same time, it wouldn't be as happy as the real story. I'm pretty sure all of you guys have seen Cinderella. If not, what world do you live in? Well, anyways, let's say Cinderella was born into a weird family. A family that never knew how to take care of a kid and didn't really like Cinderella. So Cinderella would spend most of her days locked up drawing in her room. Until one day, her mother died. So then it was left to her father to take care of Cinderella. And at that moment, Cinderella had no choice but to get out of her room sometimes, because now that her mother was gone and wasn't going to pass food through her door, her father finally got a chance to see Cinderella's face, since most of the time her mother locked her up. Because her mother, let's just say she wasn't so nice. Maybe she wasn't nice at all. But anyways, so when Cinderella finally came out of her room, she decided the first thing she was going to do was go outside and play with animals. Cinderella had never seen an animal, so she was kind of scared, but she eventually grew to like animals. By the time Cinderella was 15 years old, her dad told her that he found a new wife. Cinderella was kind of confused, but she just went along with it. She didn't say anything. And then the next morning, she woke up to a stranger being in her house. She didn't know that was her new stepmom. So then when she woke up, she decided to tell her to get out her house. Her stepmom, which she did not know was her stepmom, said, "You cannot talk to your mother like that." Cinderella was confused. But then she remembered the conversation yesterday. In her head, all she could think was, "My dad sure did marry a witch." At dinner, when Cinderella sat at the table, there were no more chairs. It's like her blue chair went missing. No one ever knew what happened to it, except her stepmother. She looked at her stepmother deep in the eye. Her stepmother looked at her deep in the eye and said, "You will not be having dinner." Cinderella was confused, since she always had dinner in or out of her room. So she decided that she was going to sit on the couch and wait. But dinner never ended, because it was really long. What's that noise? What is that noise? Oh my god, this is so loud. Okay, forget about that noise. I'm going to try and continue. But anyways, dinner never ended. So that's what it felt like. What? Dinner never ended, but it did. But that's what it felt like to Cinderella, since this was the longest dinner she had ever had. Except she had never really had a dinner with her family. So she just thought that's how dinner went. The dinner was 3 hours just because she had some new people coming into her family. Someone is at the front door. Okay, this is weird. Okay, I'm going to try not to get distracted. Anyways, since she had never been to a dinner, she thought that's how dinners were. Except she didn't know the time really. She just felt like it had been 10 hours instead of 3. Her mother had a watch with her, which I know sounds very weird since Cinderella is a really old story, but just trust me on this. I said it was going to be different. Yeah, her stepmother checked the time and told Cinderella that it was 10 p.m. And it was time for her to go to bed, which means dinner wasn't really dinner, I guess. But anyways, Cinderella went to bed. Her stepmother stayed up late staring at the TV. And I know TVs weren't invented back then. At least I think. But again, trust me. Cinderella woke up in the middle of the night, which you could say was the next day because it was 12:30 in the morning. And Cinderella woke up and saw that her stepmother had been staring at the TV the whole entire time. She had baggy eyes and looked very tired. But Cinderella was confused on how the TV was off. She told her stepmother that the TV was off, and her stepmother didn't say anything, but she shook her head as if she knew that the TV was off. It was like she was planning something in her head the whole entire night. Cinderella got really scared and decided just to go try to sleep again, but she stayed up for the rest of the morning. I guess you could say that. Or would it be night? Because 12 is the morning, but it's also the night. I'll just figure that out later. So I guess she stayed up the rest of the morning or night or whatever you want to say 12 is for you. And so she can go to sleep because she was so scared on how her stepmother was staring at a blank screen. She didn't even know what to think. So she fell asleep once, but she had a nightmare about what could be going on in her head. So she didn't go to sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, I guess earlier in the morning, you could say that. Again, whatever you want to call it. She woke up from thinking of something scary. She didn't go to sleep, but she woke up from thinking of that scary thing. Because at night, she couldn't stop thinking of it. It was like she was having a nightmare while she was awake. So she woke up and was able to snap out of it, but her mother had to push her off her bed because she wouldn't stop thinking of it. And she told her father, but her stepmother walked in and told her to not say anything about it. Her father turned around and said, "Did you say something?" And she said, "No, she didn't say anything at all." But the thing is, she was planning out Cinderella's whole entire life. Except she didn't know what the beginning was, since she had only known Cinderella from when Cinderella was 15. Or whatever age. I don't even know what age I said, and even if I didn't say an age. I'll think of that later. And since she had only known Cinderella from when she was 15, she didn't know how to control the beginning of her life to get this to work out, since Cinderella had already been taught so many things without her stepmother. But the thing was, she did know one thing. She just knew that Cinderella didn't have all those... How do I say this? Cinderella didn't have blue eyes. She had brown. But the thing was, she had changed the eye color to try to make Cinderella think of a completely different life. And let's just say she tried that for about a month and it didn't work out. So she just let Cinderella keep her blue eyes, which is why she still has them in the story. So that's why at night she was planning out the rest of her life that she could control. Cinderella had a very long life. Let's just say her plan didn't really work. But let's just continue. Anyways, Cinderella was so scared that she couldn't even eat breakfast. They had found her chair and they were confused on why she wouldn't sit in it. She let her stepsisters, by that I mean 3 instead of 2, she let her stepsisters sit in that same chair all together because that's what she felt like. She felt like there were 2 people smashing her like this, which isn't a very good thing because she probably couldn't breathe. But that's how she felt. But anyways, after breakfast was over, Cinderella went back to her room and locked up, as if her mother was still there locking her up in her room. Her father knocked on the door and told her to open it. She said, "I will not open this door." Her father got really mad and told her to open the door. And I'm not even going to say what happened between that. Let's just say it involves kicking. And then the father got in, and he asked Cinderella why she locked her door up like her mother was still there. Cinderella didn't respond, just like her stepmother that night. 3 years later, I know that's a big time lapse. Cinderella would be like 18 now. Her stepmother was like, I don't even know. I'll think of that later when I'm done with this video. But anyways, let's just say Cinderella wasn't very happy because for 3 years she had dreams that once she turned 18, her stepmother was going to start to do crazy things. All she would hope is that her stepmother would no longer remember her dad. But that didn't happen. They still were together. So, her stepmother's plan was finally in action. She set up a fake ball for Cinderella, and she waited for the real ball day. And so, that time Cinderella opened the door, she was given 2. But her stepmother had to sneak in one and gave Cinderella one that she said that she had gotten earlier that was for her. And she wanted to keep it a secret until the actual day. So Cinderella took that one and gave those to her sisters. Cinderella followed the address, put a yellow dress on. Since my brother's not here, that's his favorite color. I would have said blue or green. Yeah, it was a yellow dress, and she wore that. It was just like her original dress, except it was yellow. And now that I think about it, that's weird. Let's just stick with blue. Yeah, blue. Anyways, or yellow. I'm gonna stay with blue since now that I'm thinking of it, which is probably in most of you guys' head, unless you haven't seen the live action movie. It would look better if it was blue. But anyways, she put on her blue dress, which she has always worn, and it was her mother's. That was the only thing she had of her mother, since her mother only trusted her with that particular dress. And you're probably thinking, why that dress? You know what? How about you just think of that, and I won't even tell you why that dress. I'm just gonna tell you, her mother didn't even like that dress. Is that between you and me? Anyways, that day, she wore the blue dress she has always worn, which looks amazing on her. But her stepmother did something to sabotage it. When Cinderella asked her stepmother to zip the back of the dress up, her stepmother put dots on it to make the dress look completely different than what it actually was. Cinderella didn't even feel it. She just thought it was the feeling of a zipper, since she had never really felt a zipper on her back. Or even wearing a jacket. She didn't even wear jackets because she stayed in the house for so long. Anyways, she went to the ball, she had to walk, and everyone else took a carriage. But when she got to the place, she noticed that there were just trees, and there was no one there. And when she figured it all out by doing a little thinking of how her sisters looked so fancy, and the one she had was just wrapped in a rubber band. She was very skeptical. Let's just say that. And so then she finally was able to arrive at the ball. Of course, the prince didn't know her, and I didn't include the part where the prince and her met. But anyways, the prince loved her when she walked in the room. But the thing was, when the stepmother noticed, the stepmother got really angry because, I'm just going to change the name since I don't even remember the names. Her daughter, Amanda, was supposed to be the one to be the queen. So she decided to sabotage everything, and let's just say it worked. But not for so long. After 12 months, the prince figured it out and realized that that wasn't the Cinderella he had saw. It had to dye Amanda's hair blonde and make her wear the exact same dress. Turns out Cinderella was locked up in the basement, not in the attic, but in the basement where who knows what is down there. And the prince soon found that out. And the prince decided to marry Cinderella instead of Amanda. I'm not even sure which one is Amanda. Or which one I should call Amanda. But anyways, Amanda got really, really mad. So of course, she was sent to a place. I'm just gonna put it there. She was sent to a place where she learned why she should not steal her sister's clothes and should not dye her hair all the time. Let's just say she was almost bald because Cinderella had a really dark shade of blonde and it wasn't even close to brown, but it was really dark blonde. And she lost a lot of hair, which is why the prince started to think, because let's just say when he went to wash his hands, he saw hair in the sink from her washing her hair. Now that's weird. But anyways, the story ends good. Just like this, it's just like the same story. But I had to add some good stuff in it because I don't even think anyone would like hearing a bad ending for Cinderella. Let me know. Would you? Actually, that's for... No, never mind. That would be weird. But anyways, they lived happily ever after. And let's just say her whole entire family, not just the stepmother and Amanda and the other two sisters, her whole entire family, even her dad, just because her dad didn't even care about anything that happened because he wasn't looking into it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Goodbye.